Under North Carolina law, a local government must hold a referendum prior to issuing general obligation bonds. The ballot measure, or referendum, must specify the general category of capital expenditure for which bond proceeds will be used. The proposed use in this case is for parks and recreation improvements. A local government may identify specific projects that are intended to be funded by the bond proceeds, the bond package. However, due to the lengthy process involved with identifying, designing, and implementing projects, as well as the lack of detailed cost and other project information available at the time of the bond referendum, the specific projects identified in the bond package may change over time. The question that the actual bond referendum therefore asks of voters is whether they authorize local government to issue a specific amount of general obligation bonds to finance projects within the general category identified on the ballot.
A bond referendum is a voting process that gives voters the power to decide a municipality should be authorized to raise funds through the sale of bonds. A general obligation bond is a long-term borrowing option that pledges the city's full faith and credit to repay the debt over a specific term. General obligation bonds carry the lowest interest rate of all financing options available to the city and some projects. A baseball field, for example, can only be financed with general obligation bonds.
The referendum will be held Tuesday, March 15th. For election information, visit the Cumberland County Board of Elections website. You can find a link on the FAQ section of the Parks and Recreation Bond website at fayettevillenc.gov/parksbond.
General obligation bonds carry the lowest interest rate of all debt alternatives available to the cities. Just like all debt, using general obligation bonds allow projects to be completed earlier at a lower cost and lower tax burden than paying cash. It also allows users of all facilities to contribute to the debt repayment over time.
If citizens vote in favor of the bond financing question on the March 15th ballot, the city will have the authority to issue up to $35 million in general obligation general bonds. The actual amount issued will depend on future decisions by the council based on the actual bid prices received after detailed design of each project is completed.
Taxes are applied to all assessed value, which includes both real and personal property, such as your home, vehicle, or boat. It is estimated that a property rate increase up to 1.35 cents per $100 value would pay for the bonds.
For a medium home price of $125,000, the property tax increase would be $1.42 a month, $16.98 a year, or a lifetime contribution of $339.66 over the life of the debt. That is the same cost as the buying a 2-liter of soda a month.
The economy has recovered on the point that construction costs and interest rates are beginning to rise. It will never be less expensive than it is now.
These projects represent a significant investment in Fayetteville's quality of life that is designed to address gaps identified by our business community, making our city more competitive and stimulating the local economy. Fayetteville is fiscally sound with extremely low debt, the lowest by far of the 10 largest cities in North Carolina, and is prepared to execute this plan if supported in March. The city will have 7 years, which can be extended to 10, to issue these bonds. Construction of all projects must begin within that period. Preliminary work has already been completed on some of the projects. Under the current schedule, residents should see something initiated every year of that period, but all projects will not be completed until 2024.
In a strictly legal sense, Approval of the bond referendum is necessary for the city to utilize a specific kind of debt to support the development of recreation projects. It is not possible to get traditional debt financing to support the construction of park, ball field, or similar recreation projects.
The city would have to save up funds and use each cash to build all of these projects, which would take much longer. In a political sense, however, many members of council consider the referendum a test of the community's interest in these projects and may interpret a negative vote as a direction not to fund projects of this kind at all.